Welcome to Plant-Based on Fire, the podcast that ignites your passion for plant-based businesses. Real Men Eat Plants is proud to host this show, where we shine a spotlight on the latest and greatest plant-based companies making waves in the industry. From startups to established brands, we'll explore what sets these businesses apart, what challenges they've faced, and what their vision for a more sustainable and ethical food future looks like. So if you're hungry for some fresh insights, inspiring stories, and a healthy dose of entrepreneurial spirit, then join us on Plant-Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Plant-Based on Fire. I'm your host, Brian, and today I am thrilled to be continuing to talk about the plant-based businesses, their inspiring stories, and ways that they're thriving in the industry. Today, joining us is Melissa Kramer, and she is the co-founder of Vegan Disney World. I love it. Welcome to the show, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you being here. I am so excited to speak with you today because I am actually taking my family there in like 10 days, like we're going. So I just can't wait, and I've got so many questions to ask you about it. But tell us, like, your journey and how did you fall in love with obviously Disney and plant-based lifestyle, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so I was one of those spoiled kids who got to go to Disney World like every year on vacation because I had grandparents that lived in Florida. So it kind of got instilled in me from a very young age. And then as I got older, obviously, I started changing how I ate and everything. I went vegetarian when I was started college, and then I met my now husband, and he convinced me to go vegan. So he and I went on our first Disney trip together when I graduated college. And that was kind of like the eye opener to realize, like, okay, what is there here? Where is there not? And I was just like, I spent all this time researching before we left. I made these cute little PDFs on my iPhone 3 or whatever existed then, and said like the 4 things that we could eat in each park. And I was just like, you know what? There's no resource for vegans for going to Disney. And such a big part of going to a theme park is the food. And I was like, I guess I'll become the resource because I just spent forever researching everything. And now there's a lot more than 4 things per park. So it's been a huge change through these years.
That is awesome. Yeah, obviously I started 13 years ago and have just seen a huge influx of obviously more plant-based choices. So hopefully it will become the default. That's what I would love to see.
I would love that.
Did you put up a blog first, or how did you dip your toe into this, and then how did you realize like this is a thing?
I initially started by just posting on Instagram. My friends had been using the hashtag Vegan Disney World when he and his husband would go on trips. And I was like, I'm going to do that as well. And then there was like a small group of us that started each Disney trip using this hashtag. And then that was kind of it. So then I was like, okay, we need something more. And I created the website, and the website started with just basically, it still has this, but I have lists of each park and then a full list of all the vegan options that are at each park. And then I would do blog posts. And at the time I lived in Ohio. And so I would only do the posts based off food that I ate per trip. So, we'd go for like our 10-day trip, and I would have it drag out throughout like the next 5 months until we went to Disney again. It was like, here, we ate at this restaurant, and it's like 5 months ago, which sometimes things change, sometimes they don't. But yeah, it started with the hashtag that my friends were using, and then I pretty much formed the website from there.
Very cool. So what were some of the challenges you find when you go into the park and exploring the food options there? Like, does every restaurant now have basically a plant-based option at this point, or?
So, when I started all of this, obviously there was like no food. It was veggie burgers everywhere.
Potato
if we
chips.
were lucky, they were, it was literally like French fries. But it was 2019. Disney basically did the whole thing that they were going to call their plant-based initiative. And they said that every single Disney-owned restaurant will have a plant-based option. Now, as we all know, 2020 turned out to be very different than we expected it to be. And so all of those vegan options that we got didn't really return when the parks returned. They did to a certain degree. I mean, I think they said that they said it was like upwards of 200 vegan options, what they call them plant-based options, whenever they rolled that out in 2019. And a lot of them were really creative and really great, innovative ideas, and they were really
Yeah.
delicious. And then whenever the parks reopened, it was like Beyond Burgers and Impossible Burgers everywhere. And I was like, okay, but I want my other stuff back. So at this point, we're starting to see a shift again, that they are being more creative with their options, and they're not just slapping an Impossible Burger with a piece of lettuce and tomato anymore.
Yeah.
Those do still exist, obviously. But we are
Hmm.
starting to see like the more creative options again, which is really nice to see, because it got to the point where I was like excited to go eat food for the blog, as I was like, I haven't had this and all these things. And now it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, now which burger do I want to go eat? I'm like, they all taste the
Hmm.
same. So
That's right.
we're starting to
Exactly.
get there. We're getting back.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, I will be suggesting it on my trip, every place I go. Hey, where's some more?
Yes.
I think we have to shout it from the rooftops for sure. So, like, what is your hopes with the website and how to bring it forward? Are you actively making some money from it, or you're just doing this out of the goodness of your heart to help the rest of us? Or
I make a small percentage with ads, but
uh-huh.
mostly, as I joke with, there's another vegan blog as well that's called Vegan Disney Food. And her and I are friends,
Okay.
and we were talking about it and how we spend more money than we ever make on this, because people don't
Yeah.
realize that like we spend our time and our money and we do all these things and we go try these foods, and then people want more, more, more from us. And I'm like, I'm literally spending my own money to do this.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm also a travel advisor. And so it's worked out really well to kind of negate people from my website to then becoming clients for me. So obviously, vegan travel is very important, and it's more than
Hmm.
just Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's kind of been nice because I've been able to retain clients because of the blog that I post on. So it all kind of
Very
worked out,
cool.
but I'm not expecting to make real money. Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just a
yeah. Well,
website.
I mean, I feel the same way about even the Real Many Plants initiative. Like my goal is to bring more men to the plant-based lifestyle on every level, and it's a challenge
Hmm.
on that front. And we aren't making any money yet either. So we're hoping with the podcast we will get to. So I think you need a
Yeah.
giant tip jar to help fund the next Disney excursion for
Oh,
more
well,
food sampling.
I do have that website, Buy Me a Coffee or whatever. So I
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
mine. So you buy me a Mickey pretzel. So I have had a good amount of people do that. So it is really nice to be appreciated for the work and time that I do spend on this, because it's not easy to sit here and comb through websites of all the menus and eat them
Yeah,
all and
that's
figure that
right.
all
That's
out.
right.
So yeah,
And
it's a
have
lot
to
of
make
work.
that special trip to that one part of the park maybe you don't want to go to for the new
Yes.
food option,
Yeah.
etc.
For another
What
burger.
is exactly for another burger? What is like? I guess for me, I haven't seen any. Are there any on Etsy? Like, you should also get into the t-shirt business. Like, what is the vegan Disney t-shirt? I was trying to think, like, what would be really cool to dress up the whole family and just shout it out, like we're
Yeah.
all wearing. Is
I
there
have
such a
some
thing? Like,
stuff
it's a
on
good money
TeePublic.
maker.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you?
no, I have
Okay.
stuff on TeePublic, and I know Lisa, who does the Disneyland one, The Happiest Vegan on Earth. She
Okay.
has some stuff too. They took down a lot of them at first because they said Disney World on them. And I used to
Yeah.
work for a t-shirt printing company that was very similar to TeePublic. Anything that was
Yeah.
any sort of copyright claim, they got cut. So I
Yeah.
snuck under the radar for quite a while, but they finally have started dinging me. But I have this really cool black metal designed one with a Mickey pretzel on it. And I
Okay.
wear that one a lot. So there's some cute ones. I have like the shark, is it Bruce from Finding Nemo? This is Fisher
Yeah.
Friends,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Food, and stuff like that. They're cute.
So what? So have you spoken to anybody officially at Disney? Like, what's been the Disney community and visitors like? Thought process and awareness of it.
Just chefs, but no one higher up has really ever bothered to get a hold of me.
Not yet, but
No,
maybe.
I've always joked that I'm not really the visual for Disney people. I have green hair and lots of tattoos, and I am not the typical influencer, if you will. So
I think that's where the world has definitely shifted. So I think you should go after it and crush it. So obviously, like, do you feel like vegan Disney World has contributed to the availability and awareness of vegan options? Like, I mean, I know when I searched for it, you were the first website that came up. So I immediately, wanted to talk to you on the podcast here, but just like started pouring through a few things on your site. So I know it's been a helpful resource for me as I plan my trip.
well,
So,
thank you. It's funny because I've had friends say that, and even people that follow us on Instagram are just like, if you hadn't have started this whole thing, now it's 2014, so almost 10 years
mhm.
ago, um, I don't think we would ever have had all these options. And I'm like, no, they would have eventually done it. But then I kind of have to take a step back and I'm like, would they have? Like, was it me? Like, I feel too humble to like be like, yeah, I did that. But at the same time, like, I think I did. And it's kind of wild to think about because 10 years ago, our vegan options were literally a veggie burger, a Malibu garden burger. And
Yeah.
now I can go have a full meal at Hoopty Doo Review next to my friend eating not vegan food, and I have the full equivalent of what they had, including a strawberry shortcake. Like that's wild. It used to just be sorbet and nothing else. Like my husband got a fruit cup once for dessert somewhere with like a candle in it. It was literally a fruit
Yeah.
cup, and we were just like, count it, I guess. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So, what is the best, most sought after? Like, what is the thing that we should definitely rush towards in the park? For what's your favorite one right now?
God, I
How
have
do
too
you
many
narrow it
favorites.
down?
That's really hard. That's really hard. Who, especially when I'm like on the spot. I will say one of my most favorite recent meals that we have had in the last year was at Toledo, which is at
Okay.
Coronado Springs Resort on like
Okay.
the top of the resort. They do like a brick oven cauliflower, which usually it's like, no, it's a cauliflower steak, but their sides are ridiculous. They've got these killer Brussels sprouts and like those gigantic beans and the best rice I've ever had in my entire life. It's like top
Very
tier.
cool.
But if you just want like a quick service thing, obviously I would say go to Satuli Canteen in
Okay.
Animal Kingdom because they make a really great crispy tofu bowl.
Very cool. So, do you think that the plant-based movement, like the Beyond Meats, and I mean, meat prices continue to keep going up. The plant-based meats are starting to get really quite competitive. Do you think that overall, us plant-basers and vegans and vegetarians and stuff are pushing that food landscape in Disney?
I think so. I know, I mean, I know plenty of people that choose to eat these things that aren't even fully vegan because they're just like, I'm tired of eating chicken nuggets every day. Like I have friends who like would happily eat those disgusting turkey legs, and if he can get
Hmm.
an Impossible Burger, he's like, I'm getting that. So I
Right.
think that the fact that they have the options, I mean, you always have the person who's like, vegan, what's that? I don't want that. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, like
Yeah.
just try it. Like it's good. So I think some of their options to the point now where it's like people don't realize like a Dole Whip, those pineapple soft serves, those are vegan. You're eating vegan food
Hmm.
right now. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
just it doesn't have to be
Exactly.
made from grass.
That's exactly.
So
It doesn't have to be a salad with a tomato on it.
exactly.
What? So where do you hope to take it? What partnerships, collaborations do you have going? Are you I guess is your travel business primarily the vegan travel offerings or everything?
I mean, I it's hard to say. I would love in an ideal world, I don't ever want to be expected to get anything from Disney from this. However,
Hmm.
whenever they were offering free things for influencers and other blogs and stuff, specifically like the parties, I would love to be able to go to one of the parties and see what is available for vegans because I feel really guilty going without my child.
Yeah.
Especially it's like a Halloween party and he can go trick or
Yeah.
treating and you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to do that, but I don't want to pay for myself to go one night and then another time where I pay another five, six, $700 for my family to go. So it'd be really nice if I could go and on Disney's dime, if you will, promote
Yeah.
it, but also be able to do my research. And then the next time I get to go, I get to go for fun. So
Yeah.
that'd be really great. But then with the travel stuff, obviously, I book everything. But anyone who usually finds me through Vegan Disney World is looking for a Disney trip, so they get
Yep.
all the best recommendations for dining.
Very cool. Very
Yep.
cool. And and Are you on, like, where do they find you besides the website? Are you on Instagram, obviously, TikTok and
Yes.
stuff? How do we get in touch?
I'm on Instagram at Vegan Disney World, as well as YouTube. I've not been super active on YouTube for like the last 6 months because I needed to take a break, which I think everyone should do with social media every
That's
once
right.
in a while.
I agree.
So I will hopefully be working my way back into that world, but those are pretty much it. I have Twitter if that still exists. I don't know last time I checked that. And now I've joined Threads, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I am. But mostly Instagram is where you'll find me.
Good. And so everybody who's listening, go check out the website one more time for everybody.
It's vegandisneyworld.com.
vegandisneyworld.com, and go and find the buy a pretzel button on there for Melissa and help
Thank you.
support this awesome resource and some future collaborations I hope to see with you and Disney. And I don't know, my daughter absolutely loves what is it? I don't know if it's a Disney show, but Is It Cake? Have you seen that one where they
I think
cut
it's on
into
Netflix,
things?
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I could just see Disney doing that kind of a thing and
That'd be
inviting you on there for the vegan version of that party and stuff. So we wish you the best of luck, Melissa. Thank you so much for being on Plant Based on Fire.
Thank
any
you.
parting thoughts for us?
Just, if you want to go to Disney World, you know where to find me. And don't ever be afraid to ask questions when you're asking about food.
That's right. That's half the battle, is don't be afraid of that, especially when you're on vacation and want to maximize that. So, well, again, Melissa, thank you so much for being here. That's all the time we have for this episode of Plant Based on Fire. And thank you for joining us and sharing your insights and experiences with the community. Until next time, let's keep that fire burning.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Plant Based on Fire. We hope you enjoyed learning about the innovative plant-based businesses we featured today and got inspired to support them on their journey. Remember, plant-based eating isn't just a trend. It's a way of life that benefits your health, the environment, and animals. By choosing plant-based foods, you're making a positive impact on the world and helping to create a better and more compassionate future. If you want to join the Real Men Eat Plants community and get even more resources to help you go and stay plant-based, check out our blog, podcasts, and 30-day challenge at realmeneatplants.com. Thank you for tuning in to Plant Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us a review, and let us know what you think of this episode. Don't forget to tag us at Plant Based on Fire when you share this episode in your preferred social media. Wish to be a guest? We need to know about your plant-based business. Email us at pbof@realmeneatplants.com. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you to our guests and to you, our listeners, for your support, and see you next time.